Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Bow and Arrow Tarot. Today we're going to get right into the weekly reading for the sign of Gemini. This is going to be for January 5th to the 11th. And let's get right into it, my lovely Geminis. Now, if you're new to my channel, thank you so much for checking me out. And stay a moment to see if this is the type of reading you'd like. And if you're regular, you know how much I love you. Now, the weeklies, we're going to pull out your 3 romance angel messages as we always do. Then we'll pull out your animal spirits, and then we'll get right into the 4 forecasts for your week. All right, guys? Now, of course, just take what resonates with you, and if it doesn't apply, let it fly. Not all readings can be for all people, and certainly that is the case with this one. All right, Gemini, what do we have for you this week? Express your love. Nice. We have love yourself first. Always good advice. And we have this could be the one. All right. You've already met the partner that you seek. Right. All right, guys. So let's get right into your animal spirits. And then we'll see a little bit deeper into these messages for you. All right. Animal spirits can come in the form of energies that are becoming available to you. They can represent stages and paths in your life that are opening up to you. They can also represent personality traits and characteristics of individuals that you may be dealing with in your day-to-day life, right? So let's just see what Gemini is coming across with this week, what animal spirit you may be riding with or walking with, depending on the spirit, right? We have the hawk, air energy, the hummingbird, more air energy, and the tiger, fire energy. All right, my lovely Gemini. All right, let's check it out. The hawk. Hawk is, of course, air energy, and the hawk is associated with being the messenger of the divine. The hawk is able to see the entire picture, you know, of your life or of a stage in your life, as well as all of the details. And so in this way, the hawk is all-seeing, right? Ever watchful. Oftentimes, also, the hawk can bring with it, as I said, messages from the divine, right? Clues to where you should be moving towards next, what your next steps may be. And this is all part of seeing the bigger picture. Oftentimes, the hawk is also associated with the feeling of having the eyes of fate on you, in a sense that these messages are meant to sort of keep you on your destined path, right? And oftentimes, when fate has its eyes on you, it's almost as if events in your life happen out of your own hands, right? Out of the control of your own hands. And so it's favoring you, right? It's not fate in a negative way. It's fate favors you in this way when it has its eyes on you. It opens up doors to allow things that were meant to happen for you to happen. Now, the hummingbird is this beautiful, beautiful air element also. One of my regular players on my readings for sure. And the hummingbird is associated with spiritual resourcefulness, right? The hummingbird is extremely hardworking and industrious. But what does the hummingbird do in nature? It goes every day out to find the best nectar, right? Manna from heaven, right? The things that the food or the elixir that we need to nourish ourselves, right? Feed our life source and our spiritual source. And so this is what makes the hummingbird spiritually resourceful, right? Able to, you know, the hummingbird knows exactly where to go to find the tools or the energies needed to help it through any kind of spiritual endeavor, help its mind to understand and expand and understand the connection between the spirit and the here and now. It's a very, very strong card, and it's definitely a beautiful card when we're talking about someone resonating with this energy. Very nice to have a hummingbird personality in your life. Now, the tiger is associated with fire and overcoming fear. The tiger is The worldwide, all over the world in many cultures, old and new, the tiger represents fear, right? She's absolutely a strong, feminine animal spirit, right? A feminine energy. And she's highly intuitive. The tiger hunts at night, hunts in the jungle where sometimes it's nighttime, even though it's daytime because of the darkness of the jungle itself, right? Blotting out sometimes the full light of the sun. And so in this way, the tiger is comfortable with the darker side of life, comfortable navigating this territory because she has her third eye completely open, as you can see with the crescent moon there. And she's unafraid. She just simply doesn't fear anything because one of the reasons is because she trusts her intuition so strongly. I would say that the tiger is very closely associated with perhaps the high priestess energy in that sense. But in any case, tiger energy comes into our lives at a time when we need to be unafraid, right? When we need to be unafraid, have courage, and certainly have faith in your own ability to know which way to go for your own safety, for your own progress, right, and betterment. Very, very strong feminine energy. All right, guys, let's get your 4 3-card spreads out. Again, for those of you who are new to my channel, during the weeklies, I always pull out 4 3-card spreads or outlooks. Now, these outlooks are they are intended to be separate from each other and therefore not necessarily for the same Gemini, but you may or may not resonate with any of them or a portion of any of them or not, and that's fine. Just take what applies. If it doesn't apply to you, just let it go. Then it is not for you, okay? So, let's see. Your first outlook, Gemini. 8 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, and 2 of Swords. Let's move this up a little. All right, so 8 of Pentacles. Some of you are coming into this week, Gemini, with an 8 of Pentacles. 8 is the number for strength, boundaries, right? Forcing boundaries, finding your strength. Of course, the major arcana 8 card is the card for strength and the card for Leo. Doesn't really matter about the Leo association right now, but more than anything with 8, we talk about being very restrictive with ourselves, putting boundaries on ourselves, right? Enforcing boundaries with ourselves to increase our strength, right? To increase our level of mastery. This is called discipline, right? And so 8 of Pentacles right now is what you're resonating with. Some of you, you're coming into the week with this energy and you are single-mindedly sort of focused on mastering a particular craft. Sometimes I've seen people interpret this card as being bored or having to sort of just work away, labor away. This is not the case at all. This is a handcrafter, right? This is somebody who's making these pentacles by hand. And so this is an artist, and this is somebody who loves what they do and who has a huge level of skill, a high level of craftsmanship and ability to be able to create pentacles by hand that, are so similar and identical. Any artist out there will recognize this as being a sense of a labor of love, right? And so in this way, you're coming into the week with this. Now, you're met with a 6 of Pentacles. And 6 of Pentacles is definitely talks about giving and receiving, finding a balance. 6 is always the number for a journey towards harmony, trying to find harmony in all things. And with the Pentacles suit, just because it is associated with the material world, Pentacles is also associated with our health, right? Our physical well-being, our environment, things of beauty that we can create in our environment. It doesn't only just talk about money, right, and wealth, right? There is so much more that is associated with the Pentacles. However, we're looking for harmony in the material world. And how do we find that? Well, by giving and receiving, by understanding the nature of both, right? The scales in his hand, he weighs his own sort of desire to have and his own desire to give, and trying to keep a balance, and in this way not being too miserly or greedy, right? And also not being so sort of giving that he has nothing left for himself to survive on, right? And so sometimes we play the role of the person receiving, sometimes we play the role of the person giving. And so it's quite interesting that you come into this energy this week. Could very well be that somebody is offering you their assistance, right? Or you are offering your assistance to someone. But I feel this is more, since this is the energy that's meeting you, this is more a case of someone coming into your life who wants to help you in some way. Maybe financially, they want to help your work. They may want to benefit your work in some way, but it is out of their desire to give, their desire to help you, but not so much to help you, but because they want to, in a way, be more harmonious with their own sort of level of abundance. They've gotten to a place in their life where they can give. It may not have been always that way, but now certain rewards have come in and they are able to help. And one of the best things that you can do with this energy is allow someone like this to help you if you require it. Now, you round the week off with a Two of Swords, which is quite interesting. It seems like an impossible decision. Right? Are you afraid to accept the help, perhaps? Or do you feel, and I'm not even going to say afraid, but it could be. We do have tiger energy here. Is it a case of feeling perhaps that if you accept their help, then you will be indebted to them? And if you don't accept their help, that somehow your work will suffer. And so you have this impossible decision. Two of Swords is often a decision also that we feel a little bit is being forced on us. Now, the secret with the Two of Swords is that twos are not about decisions at all, but they are all about duality and balance and finding a balance. Things are never black and white. Things are always a case of balancing multiple sort of aspects of something, right? Aspects to a particular scenario or stage in your life or event in your life. And you can see that even, you know, on the surface, she cannot decide what to do. She must go within herself. The emotions are very deep. You can see by the deep, you know, the deep waters that run behind her. This is certainly involved with, you know, your feeling of wanting to express yourself creatively as well, and your deeper feelings. But again, find balance. It could very well be that you can accept this help, or you can work with this individual here and not necessarily feel obligated to them in the way that you believe, right? There is always a third option. All right, my lovely Geminis. King of Wands, Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords. Whew! A lot of toxic. Wow, a lot of toxic energy here. You come into this week with King of Wands, Gemini. You are the leader. You are right now at the helm of your ship, right? You are following your sort of goal to manifest your vision, right? The King of Wands is all about his vision, right, for himself and his life, and bringing that vision into manifestation, right? However, you're met with a Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords is the card for futility and treachery. Seven of Swords is also the great hare and the tortoise and the hare story. If you're not familiar with that, it's the race between a tortoise and a hare, a large rabbit, right? And the tortoise, for all intents and purposes, should not beat the hare because it's slower. However, the tortoise is very methodical, takes step by step. You know, he's very intentional and very focused. The hare, however, because of his hubris and his pride, his overconfidence, he believes that he should win, right? And so he often, you know, he sort of skives off for most of the race, and then at the last minute tries to come up with some half-baked idea to win. He doesn't put his full energy into it. You know what happens? He never even reaches the finish line. The tortoise wins. And so in this way, we understand the nature of futility. When you don't put your whole heart into something, when you say you're trying something, but it's like, oh, I'm trying my best, you know, but are you really trying your best, right? And so this is a person oftentimes who desires something very strongly, but they don't really want to work for it, you know? They want to take it. They want to covet it. This is what then leads to treachery, right? This is usually someone who is working behind the scenes to covet something that you have. This is also usually someone who's very close to you, because we covet those things that are close to us, right? It's not strangers who will hurt you the most, but family and friends and loved ones who will hurt you the most. And so this Seven of Swords is absolutely this very toxic individual. And you come up against this energy this week. And it could very well be that up until this week, you didn't really realize who this person was. Things may have not been working out for you. Things, every time you turn around, you try to achieve something on your vision, on your goal, and it just doesn't happen. You don't understand why, because a lot of times this individual works behind the scenes, right? It will become known to you eventually, and their efforts are futile. They won't achieve what they seek to achieve. However, they can definitely still fuck up your life. You know what I mean? The futility is not that they don't sort of cause havoc. They absolutely do cause havoc in your life, but they don't achieve the goal that they're looking for. So be very careful. You come up against this energy this week. And I want to say you round the week off with the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is sort of, oh, God, Eight of Swords is the gaslighter. He's the one who plays the victim, right? And I think this feels very much like you find out who this person is. And when you confront them, right? Because Hawk energy, you begin to see the bigger picture. When you confront them, they blame it all on you. They tell you it's all your fault. They try to gaslight you. If those of you who aren't familiar with the term gaslighting is, it comes from a play earlier of the 20th century. It's all really about someone who creates a lot of chaos, a lot of crazy energy around them, who can convince you that you're crazy, right? But it's really all of their doing, They create a crazy environment and then they blame you for it and they gaslight you, It's a way of sort of undermining you. It's extremely toxic energy. Eight of Swords is also someone who always plays the victim. You can see that they're bound, blindfolded. This is the person who says, well, if you didn't treat me if you didn't talk to me the way you did, I wouldn't have to beat you. Do you understand what I mean? This is an extremely close-minded, toxic individual. They never take responsibility for their actions. They blame the whole world for their toxicity. And this is what I think is going to happen. And unfortunately, this may be a little bit of a real heartache or a heartbreak to you, because almost always Seven of Swords is someone close to you, my Gemini. And I'm sorry to say you will find out who this person is, but be prepared and be ready for them, because you will absolutely have to love yourself first. And how you handle it, well, that's going to be all up to you. Five of Pentacles, Nine of Swords. Strength. There's your Strength card, and this is what I was talking about. So some of you are coming into this week. If it hasn't happened already, it's happening very early on in the week. There is a power dynamic, 5 being the number for power struggle. There's a power struggle that you lose, basically, right? There is a power struggle that happens, and you basically are the one who comes out of it paying a financial price. Not only is it a heartache, not only is it painful emotionally, and certainly a blow to your ego, but this is a power struggle that inevitably, results in you sort of being cast out, alienated from the group or from the connection, and really sort of having to pick up the pieces and start all over again. Certainly having to sort of pay the price for it, right? Now, the one thing with Five of Pentacles is that it is a very positive obstacle clearer, because although in the short term it feels horrible and it feels like very unfair and like, oh shit, why am I paying this price? It was necessary, because whatever power dynamic you were in was keeping you from your ultimate purpose. It was keeping you from greater opportunities and options. And now that you are out of it, the world is opened up to you. Yes, you will have to pick yourself up and dust yourself off, but the options and the opportunities available to you are so much greater, and you will propel yourself forward so much further than you would have had you stayed in that. Now, you come up this week with a Nine of Swords, and this is a perfect aspect for understanding strength, because, of course, this is painful. Nine of Swords definitely talks about having regret, feeling guilty, maybe feeling like, well, what did I do to cause this? Having sleepless nights, being remorseful, worrying about sort of karma rearing its ugly head, And it's really a misery that we put on ourselves, right? And that's natural, Gemini, to feel this way, certainly after you've had this kind of event. But you round the week off with strength energy, and you realize in yourself that this is all a phase, all a sort of test in a lot of ways. But it is an area in your life or a stage in your life where you begin to learn your strength, how strong you really are. Only when we are put in sort of situations like this can we really find our strengths, find our deeper strengths, right? And also understand our weaknesses, right? We understand certain people make us weak, certain types of people make us weak, or we become weak for them through our sort of, feeling sorry for them or feeling as though we can somehow fix them, you know what I mean? But in any case, strength is also, the strength card is, and number 8 is also associated with boundaries and making sure that you enforce your boundaries with people who are essentially soul suckers, energy suckers, the type of people who will constantly cross those boundaries to suck your energy and often weaken you. Enforcing your boundaries and being more discerning about the type of people you are allowing in your life is the lesson that you're learning here, and certainly learning exactly how strong you are, because you find out that you can survive this, and you find out that you are even going to be better and stronger once you build yourself up. And so this is a real internal lesson for you. Last one, 5 of Swords, Knight of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. 5 of Swords is the card for defeat. Some of you are coming into this week and really acquiescing defeat to a particular person or event. 5 of Swords is when we realize we're dealing with somebody who's really not playing fairly. They're not playing by the same rules we're playing with. And so we decide to throw our hands up and take the high road. We say, guess what? You win. I'd rather walk away than to keep engaging in this like sort of base dynamic, you know, this base power struggle. You know, I just don't want to be in this struggle with somebody like you, like this individual here. You know, there's no honor, no dignity, no sense of fairness, right? And so you say, you know what? Throw them your hands up, and you decide to allow them to have their hollow victory. And you take the high ground. Excuse me, losing my voice. And it feels like a defeat in the short term, but ultimately it is a victory. It's a victory of being able to sort of not have to win or not have to battle sometimes with someone when you realize that this battle or this so-called victory isn't a victory and isn't very good for you. So you come into the week with this. You met with a Knight of Wands energy, and somebody sees you do this. Somebody sees you take the high road, Gemini. This Knight of Wands comes in and they see you, and they are your champion. They are your supporter. The Knight of Wands is extremely idealistic, extremely sort of forward moving and going after their ideals. They're also the great bodyguards, you know. The Knight of Wands is the one who comes in and they support you when nobody else supports you. They're able to see your vision. Not only are they able to see their own vision, this represents their goals as well, but in this situation, I feel we're talking about somebody who's specifically coming in to support you, who sees you and understands you. And guess what? A whole new opportunity opens up for you. An Ace of Pentacles opens up. And I think that they bring this opportunity into you this week. They bring this opportunity, excuse me, with them to you this week, because they see how talented you are, and they see that your efforts have really been wasted on this dynamic here, right? And so they say, hey, you know what, Gemini, I have something better for you. Check this out. And in comes an opportunity for huge abundance, a new opportunity for you to go down a road that will give you a victory in a sense and in a way that you never before had imagined. This is very much hawk energy in a sense of fate shining its eyes on you. The Knight of Wands is very much hummingbird energy in a sense of being spiritually resourceful and supportive for you. And tiger energy is resonating in this reading because you have overcome the fear of baser emotions like pride for a better, higher value in your life. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. This is your reading, January 5th to the 11th. I do apologize for the state of my voice. This happens every weekend because I'm doing so many videos back to back. But nevertheless, I'm going to go have a cup of tea, and then I'm going to come right back with the Cancer reading. But for right now, Gemini, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next week for the weeklies. Bye-bye now.